y'all. Hola, hola, family. Why you gotta be so insecure? When I done did all I can do. Baby, listen, if that ain't some real music. Ooh, I took me a good old nap. Hey, y'all. I took me a good old nap. You heard me? A real good nap. And your niece called me right as I was about to take it. I said, but then I got to see Emu. So I was excited about that. That's the only reason I didn't yell at her. Nigga, because you know I'm about to take a nap. And that's the only reason you called me. Because I'm about to take a nap. If I'm taking a nap, getting ready to go to the restroom or taking a bath, they gonna call. Every time. I don't care how many days go by, it's gonna be one of them. I'm gonna hold on as long as I can tonight. You're not feeling good. You don't gotta stay here. Put some onions on your, well, if your husband okay with that, or make you some onion and honey something. And sip on that at least while you in class. If you gonna be up, might as well go on and knock it out. That's why I don't be wanting to go outside. You got you some avocado spray that you can spray on your body so you feel better? Huh? Go on and get you a little onion broth and some honey and some avocado spray. I don't know exactly what it is, but that'll take the ache away for a little bit. I don't want you to be here, Go on and rest, baby. It's okay. Because Auntie been getting her rest. Hey, Pumpkin. Good morning. I mean, afternoon. Y'all know what time. Night. Good evening. Okay. So, who remembers me telling y'all that God gives me bits and pieces of the puzzle a little bit at a time? And he might give me a piece to it 10 years ago, and then he will let me come up on some information. Hey, Nisha. He'll let me come up on some information, okay? And it is mind-blowing, and it'd be something so simple, and I'll be like, oh, my goodness. You hear me? You hear me? Does anybody have the gold or black mythology book or any of the books about Roman or Greek mythology? Norse mythology, any of it? Do you? Y'all, my toes is going like this in these shoes. Okay, if you do. In any of y'all? I have one, but not the gold. It's the black. Okay, I'm gonna need you to grab it. If you have this book or this book, I'm gonna need y'all to grab them. I'm gonna need y'all to grab them right now. Right. If you have either one of these, or that gold mythology book, or the black mythology book, I'm gonna need you to get it. And if you got all of them, grab them. Because I'm about to show you something. And I said, God, I'm sick of them playing in our face. This beautiful book that Mr. Michael sent me on a journey. Oh, my God. And I only looked at it for about 30 minutes. Okay. Oh, shoot. Are you ready to see something that is mind-blowing and so simple that if you didn't know what to look for, you wouldn't even see it. At the appointed time, you will get the information. Y'all. If you got the big green book, you might well get that too. You could just set that on the side, because guess what? When I tell y'all they play in our face so hard, this why they be laughing at us. Because they know we got eyes, but we don't see. And we got ears, but we don't hear. And I'm about to show y'all how it's mind-blowing that we don't. Okay. Do you agree that the Greek and Roman gods were the Assyrian and Babylonian kings and the Egyptian kings? I can't flip the screen over here. It doesn't work like that over here. It is what it is over here. That was TikTok, babe. I can't flip it over here. It don't allow me to do that. Okay. Now this is the Bible as history in pictures. Y'all. See that? And yes, I still got glue on my nails, so don't look at it. See this? The Gulf of Suez. S-U-E-Z. See this? The Gulf of Suez. Can you write Suez backwards and tell me what you get? Do the letters backwards and tell me what name you get. The mountain of Zeus is close to Mount Sinai. The mountain of the gods. When I tell you they play in our face. And so to make sure that I wasn't going crazy, I had to come in here and get this book and this book. They play in our face, nephew. The mountain of Zeus is in the area of the Gulf of Suez. I got to looking at because you know they said all this behind the ice wall, right? And I told you, I said no. They telling us go look behind the ice, but they steady digging up ancient Mesopotamia and Africa. Don't look over there. You look the opposite way from where they telling you. And if that big green book tells us that the Greek and Roman and all of the demigods are the kings of Assyria and Babylon and Egypt, and then they play in our face like this, they play in our face, okay, and just switch the name backwards, okay? Y'all think I'm crazy? I'm about to show you. Chapter 4, the Anunnaki lands, the sea of Horus and the land of Seth. Now, where do we know for a fact that Seth was living at? Where were the sons of Anunnaki living? Tell me. Did they live in ancient Mesopotamia or no? And Seth would have been alive when the Anunnaki were around. Would he not? Adam got to see him for at least probably 300 or 400 years. So wherever Seth settled in ancient Mesopotamia, his borderline was the land of the Anunnaki. Could that be because his sister was Anak? In the beginning, they probably took land that was right next to each other. Maybe they've been playing in our face. Is y'all with me? So if all I gotta do is switch Suez to Zeus, is it easy for me to hide information but tell you the truth the whole time? While then going over there and trying to dig up everything that I can about it. But if I tell you it's behind an ice wall, switch the name backwards, okay? Then you're not ever going to think to go there. No? Did we not look up the gate of Persepolis? And there was there's like flying lions or horses in front of it. And it's in ancient Mesopotamia, not Rome or Greece, right? They have one, but that's not the original. So with the gate of Persepolis, where y'all think Percy Jackson came from? Hello? There was goats running around. If you look at was they not by water? Camp Half Blood? But when you got behind there was a beautiful river, lake, whatever, right? Okay. This is where all the giants were living in Lebanon. And look at, there's Egypt, where the Gulf of Zeus is. All the giants was living right here. And there's Egypt. Here's Mount Sinai. And there's the Gulf of Suez, better known as the Gulf of Zeus. So is this Middle Earth? Is it? Is this Middle Earth? Is this the land of the gods? Right here? This is the land of the gods. If Suez is right by Mount Sinai, and we know that the mountain of Zeus is where the gods lived, and we know that in the days of Canaan, which would have been in this area, in the days of Jared, which would have been in this area, the angels went down and went into the women and created giants that then surrounded Israel, which is right in here. Y'all with me? No? Okay. The famous Anunnaki, another of the colonizing and parasitic races that is sickening the other worlds, manipulating and controlling the children of the children of the Hebrews for years and years. Another of our enemies, a hostile and power-hungry race. They are the creators of the pyramids and build these structures in all the worlds that they visit. Now, if you have been here, I have pulled out books and showed you pyramids all over the place, and then y'all went and looked them up. There's pyramids in Japan, there's pyramids in South America, there's pyramids here in America, there's pyramids everywhere. And we went through the map, I folded it backwards, and I said, look, they could walk to these places. And what we think are huge mountains are actually old pyramids. Remember, we went through and looked at all the temples in India and saw how massive they are. And I said, well, who built that? Who built that? But if I'm 450 feet tall, it's nothing. If my daddy is an angel, that means I'm able to transform matter. Okay. The land of Venus. Tell me what name on here you see that's interesting. The land of Ruth. Can you Google Ruth? I know it's backwards, pumpkin. I can't do nothing with it. Y'all, we gotta. Can you tell me? Can you tell me where Ruth was from? Where was Ruth from the Bible born? Please tell me. The land of Moab. Was Moab a giant? Moab is a son of a daughter by a father, is it not? The girls got together with their daddy and where does it say that the biblical land of Moab was? Rika. Come on in, girl. That's why I said come on and get your books. I'm trying to tell you they've been playing on our face the whole time. Hey, Mr. Avery. Where's the biblical land of Moab now? If you got an old Bible, it'll show you a map. Jordan. Interesting. So the land of Ruth is Jordan, east of the Dead Sea. So when I look in this book that just got through talking to me about the Anunnaki, east of the Dead Sea, in what is now modern day Jordan. Interesting. Very interesting. Did the people that lived around this Gulf of Zeus, or excuse me, Suez, did they go to war against Israel? Did they? The people that live in the Gulf of Zeus, did they go against the Israelites? They did. Okay. All right. So in Genesis, in a lot of the books of the Bible, it tells us that the giants, and it was all these different races of people that kept going against the people who would end up being the Hebrews. Now there was a mix because God had to get the mix that he wanted. Even Jacob was from two races of giants, was he not? Like an Amorite and a Jeb. I can't remember. I know he was. Mama was an Amorite. His daddy was a something else. Y'all remember? And that is what formed the land of Israel. And they were the least of the clans, which means probably the smallest of the giants. We've read that together, and it's even in the Bible about the clans, right? And then they talked about the clans of giants. Okay. Okay. Where's the land of Osiris? Where is it? Where was Osiris worshipped? In Egypt. So when I see this, and it says, they started by lands outside the domes, like their nearby land Osiris, but they moved their technology to the islands of Anubis. Many of these beings stayed in the Paradise Islands, but they used but they used their many of the military but they use there many of the military bases for weapon development. Maui, like Ohio and Mahia, the two giants of the angels, like Atlantis. Hello, that had technology that nobody else had. Yep, like old boy from Moana. Maui, I believe, is Mahia. Because remember, Barack Wiel said, until whenever they gonna remember your names. And remember, Ohio is the valley of the Amorite giants. And Mahia, who can fly. This in our book of the giants in the Dead Sea Scrolls. Okay? They daddy said they gonna your name, people gonna say your name all the time. Ohio and Mahia. Or some of the ways that you see it is kind of spelled like Maui. And it says that Maui was a demigod, was he not? He had the ability to, but they showing us in the last Moana, and I just started watching it today, so I ain't even watched it all the way, that their roots came from, we know where they came from. They ancestors came from ancient Mesopotamia. They tried to say some other islands, but we know, right? Just like in Avatar, they left their beautiful lush place right around, this is when Egypt and everything and all of that was a beautiful lush land, okay? And they went across to some water and was living with the water people. But did Enoch tell us that they mated with animals, and there were people that lived in the sea and could do all of these things. And we know for a fact right now that there are different people in Polynesian and other Melanesian communities that bust their eardrums so that they can go deeper in the water and like fish on the floor of where they live at. Yes or no? They can slow their heart rate down. They can slow their heart rate down and get down and be underwater without breathing. It's scientists, it's people that can do this right now. Yes or no? Y'all seen it. And they're all coastal islands in like the circle of. Now we know for a fact that the Bible says that once like the giants got the cutting up, they was spreading out into the all into the earth. They was trying to conquer the earth. Nimrod, who was a giant that was from Phoenicia or or wherever you want to call it, Iraq, in that area, it says that he reigned over the whole earth, did it not? And this was after the flood, right? At one time, Enoch was a king of Job, not the king of a world, but he was the king. He had reign over a certain area, right? Jobab. Okay. All right. Oh, and that was in the land of Draco. Oh, let's go there. So I believe it's the Edomenes, by means of a treaty, achieved a union with the Custodians. But at the beginning, this was not so. But the Custodians attacked their lands when they were not in their most advanced stage. But on the contrary, the Draco lands lacked islands. But two large continents are found with great vegetation. In fact, the most exotic plants of any other circle environment within the Great Dome exist there. Now, let me ask you a question. Did we read that Lamech mated Leviathans? Cain's Lamech and sea monsters. And he ran with an angel named Yuval, and his daddy was somebody else, because Yuval is still a spirit that's on the earth right now. Lamech was living where? The first one was probably living somewhere in ancient Mesopotamia, and we know that because Tubal-Cain was living in ancient Mesopotamia, and that is his forefather. Or his brother, their family. Tubal-Cain and the other Lamech. I can't remember if that's his kid. I believe that's his kid, but if not, if it is his brother. But they family, right there together. And we know for a fact that they were living in ancient Mesopotamia. So the land of Draco is going to probably be where? Probably east of the Jordan. Because the Bible, prior to the 1700s or whenever dinosaur or whatever came in, it said what in there? Excuse me. It said what? It still say the word in the Bible right now. Start with a D. Y'all know it? Dragons. Dragons. Okay. The land of Zeus. The land of Zeus. Okay? TB? Tebe in the land of Zeus. Do you think that's Thebes of Egypt? TB, if I know that Zeus is really the land of Suez, not Zeus, and right around where that river is, a little bit away from there, is a place called Thebes. But in this book, it's called TB. Hello? Hello? Y'all here? Still don't believe me, right? Okay. Let's do this. This is Egypt, right? This is Egypt. This is water, right? This is Egypt. This is water. Can you tell me what's above Egypt? Here's Egypt, right here. Here's Egypt. Here's Egypt, right here. This orange one, next to Libya. See it? This Egypt. What is this straight up here? What is this? Yeah, no. Straight up, though. If I go straight up from Egypt, I'm sorry, right here. Straight up, what is this area? What is all of these islands right here? Europe. Interesting. Europe. If you go straight up from Egypt, right, on your map, it shows Europe. Right? Okay. Straight across from the land of Zeus, or Suez, straight up from that, can you tell me what they say right here? Right there. What's that say? Right here. This. Can y'all see it? Right there. Y'all see it? It says Europa. Europe with an E instead, I mean an A instead of an E. So right across. So I'm going to show y'all what they did. They turned it. Because if I look at it this way, right? Did I turn it the right way? I did. Nope, I didn't. Sorry. This way. You get Europe, the land of Zeus, right? Across from each other. Do you see? And then Thebes. Right here. You see it? So this is Europe, the land of Zeus, Thebes. Europe. Okay. Europe. Straight up from Egypt is Europe, right? You got the land of Thebes somewhere in here, right? Not too far off from a river. So all they did was flip it. So you don't know. Because they show, listen, all of this right here, water. Water. See this? It's water that goes in here. It's water that goes in there. It's water there. It's water here. And then it's all of this. What are they showing you right here? The land of Jupiter, Perseus, Cassiopeia, Andromeda. Can you tell me where you know the name Almathea from? And where did Almathea's horn? And what book did Job's daughter? And Job was a king in what area? It says Job was an Edomite. Where did where was the land of Edom? The Edomites. The land of Edom. It says he was an Edomite. Where did the Bible or where do the maps say that the Edomites live? IDU, I believe, MITE. Don't quote me on that. But the Edomites, where, or the Edomites, where? They said Rome. Well, maybe that's where they relocated to. Or but he was going against the Assyrians. It should be somewhere. Yeah. Because he was going against, he was an ancient Mesopotamian king. The land of Uz, Jordan. Okay. Okay. Yeah, I was going to say, he's in the ancient Mesopotamia. Not that that wasn't part of it, but he was a king in that area. Now, he might have had land over there because they say he owned a whole bunch of stuff, but He was in ancient Mesopotamia, south of the Dead Sea. Interesting. Okay. All right. Here we go. So this is the land of Jupiter now. Remember, our big green book tells us that Jupiter was actually a what? An Assyrian or Babylonian king. Okay. So I showed y'all the map, the land of Zeus. Okay, here we go. Listen to this. It says they live in almost constant internal warfare. This is due to the influence of the Anunnaki when they invaded their lands in an early age. Who gave humans the implements of war? The angels gave them the implements of war, and when the giants came, that is when war started being all the time. Prior to them, there was no war. They was cool. Isn't that interesting? And this is in the land of Zeus now, where there is Thebes and Europa and some other names. Okay, here we go. Listen to this. The vast majority of those who rule today are in the center, their core, called and known as the land of Zeus. Listen to what I said. The vast majority of those who rule today are in the center, their core, called or known as the land of Zeus. According to the history that could be gathered from the interesting world is that one of the high-ranking Anunnaki leaders lived or still lives in these lands along with the leaders of the Jupiter lands. So Egypt, where they're always digging up and going into mountains. And ancient Mesopotamia, the mountains of like Syria and stuff. You getting it? Where they always digging up stuff at. Definitely in Egypt, right along the Nile, and all up and through there, Karnak, and where the gate of Perseus is in different places, Persia, Syria. And he said it's still living. It says special mention for Metis. Metis. Now, mind you, this is the land of Zeus. What do you think they changed that name from? They have it in, ooh, joy. Not you gonna answer the question right away and correctly. Metis is Medes. No, I wanted you to. I'm happy. I'm excited. So in this book, special mention for the Medes, these lands are used only by the leaders, and no other being can enter without their permission. Who remembers me telling y'all that one of the books that T of y'all sent me talks about there's lands that they don't let people go because the original people still live there? And that's why he saw the Black Mountains that he had never seen before. They're not on any map or whatever he called it in anti-Lebanon or wherever. Remember, I read this to y'all. And he said when they got up on the mountains, he didn't realize it was like apartments cut into the mountains. Well, who gonna do that in solid black rock. Remember, he talked about how the door was little, but when you got in there, they were massive beings and the mountain builders. Okay. I gotta go to the restroom. Well, I'm gonna read this real quick, then I'm gonna go to the restroom. It says, they are beings with great development in destructive weapons for attack and defense, and have almost no spiritual development. They are based on a hierarchical pyramid instituted by early Anunnaki. How many times are the sons of Anak mentioned in the Bible? The Anakim, because the sons of Anu, the sons of Anak, and they're all the same. Okay. Pyramids are found almost everywhere in the lands of this world as a flag of clear control by the parasitic race. People say when they go discovering certain mountains and stuff, and they get into these temples and they dig down, that they just come up missing, but they always find a lot of bones, like somebody been eating chicken bones, because they still in there. They still live around. They talk about the mountains of Brazil, and the mountains of in South America and in Africa, Congo, all these places, everywhere. They say, oh yeah, they still up there, and we got to give them food and do this and that, or maybe they'll come down here and do what they need to do. They still live up there. We don't go up there. We let them stay up there, and we stay down here. Do you remember where the giants lived when we first started reading? Remember, some people lived down in the valley, and the giants was living up on the mountain. And then in some areas, the giants lived down, and God's people was up on the mountain. Like Cain, remember? His kids lived in a certain area, and then Seth's kids lived up on the mountain. Well, if Seth was 30 feet tall, just like in the Mortal Kombat movie where Sindel screamed and destroyed the apartments in the mountains. I've not seen that, and I'll need to watch it. Mortal Kombat movie? Nephew, so you didn't give me something to watch before I go to sleep? I ain't even watched it. Quit playing. Didn't know. Okay. Didn't even know. I'm going to get that in soon. Okay. Didn't even know. You said, or like they show us in Black Adam and in Aladdin. Okay. Listen. Yeah. Hold on, though. It says, contact with humans happened on the known Earths long ago. Exactly 3 resets or reboots ago. They show clear hostility to almost all other races. Even had several conflicts with the Custodians. Who are the Custodians? Who y'all think the Custodians is? Hey. Hola, hola. Huh. It looked like the same ruins apartments that was in the show when the Euphrates dried up and exposed what was under it. No. Like the Flintstones apartments. Interesting. Also, now the new Mortal Kombat movies, but the one closer to the 90s. Okay. Okay. I have to go look at it. Who does God send to watch over us? Angels. So could they be considered custodians? And didn't the angels war with the giants. That's why God would have to send the angels and say, don't worry about how many and how big they are. I got. So the Anunnaki had a lot of conflict with the Custodians. And the angels are who watch over us and protect us against giant sized people and other spiritual beings, are they not? Who, when the normal sized people was fighting against giants, or the smaller of the people was fighting against giants, did God send to take care of us? He sent the angels, the custodians. They watch over humankind, do they not? And they protect us, they save us, they stop things from that would be like a custodial, whatever you want to call it. Not a parent, but you know what I'm saying? It says they studied the human beings for a while, since they have large laboratories with great scientific advances for the modification and manipulation of beings. Would that be considered alien technology? And where do they say the most advanced societies were? And where did they start to manipulate the genes of humans? Beings. Mm-hmm. For the manipulation of beings. For the modification, scientific advances. Now, this is in the land of Jupiter. Which tied into the Testament of Solomon, where certain angels foiled the plans of certain demons. Okay, nephew, you getting me. The Custodians. Now, I gotta run to the restroom, and then we gonna keep going. So, who knew that the land of Suez is actually the land of Zeus, and they've been playing in our face? Tell me that's not amazing, though. And if you know what you're looking at, God will open up some things to you, but you gotta have the other pieces. But I told y'all, I said, look, when I first got that book, but it didn't make sense until today when I got the red one. Everything, pieces. He gave me them books 3 years ago. He just gave me the answer today. Y'all still with me or y'all done went to sleep? Y'all still here? Okay. It says these beings are of short stature in comparison to they're only 1.4 to 1.5 meters and are known for their particular eyes and big head. They are carnivorous and feed mostly on animals that are born on the surface of their lands. Okay, last one is Pegasus. The land of Pegasus near Jupiter and Hercules. Do we know that Hercules lived in ancient Mesopotamia? Do the Egyptians have someone with the name Hercules or anyone else in ancient Mesopotamia with a name that's close to Hercules? What's his name? The Egyptians? Who is Hierarchies? Spelled with a K. I believe it's Hier, something like that. Who is he? Or it might be Herk and not C. Or Heracles, Hera. Not Hier, sorry. Herak, I believe Les or LAS or something like that. I believe she was the son of Hera or something like that. One of them. He was the son of Hera. Was he the son of Hera? Somebody named Hera? Hera and Zeus. Interesting. Zeus fought with Libya, didn't he? I, Hercules is a demigod, not Hera's son. Hera would give him You said Hercules was a demigod, not Hera's son. Hera would give him the curse of madness, which made him unalive his wife and kids. Interesting. Interesting. Okay. Well, let me ask you this. Hercules in Josephus, right, says that he fought with Libya. Did he not? He did. In Josephus on page 15, we know he fought with Libya and Antaeus. I believe that's how you say his name, and they was fighting against somebody. Zeus, the king of the gods, fell in love for lust with Alcmene. He disguised himself as her husband. Okay. Okay, so hold on. Just look now. So we know that somebody shapeshifted in the land of Suez. Right or wrong? You said Alcmene is Hercules' mother. So that's her Egyptian name. That's yeah. Now, could her other name be Mene? Like, I know they spell it like that, but could it be Mene? Like the people from that region as well? Not just the Medes, but the mini or Mene, however you say that, Mene. Could that be another spelling of her name? Excuse me. But remember, Zeus was also known for shape shifting and making a lot of children bastards. Exactly. So we just gonna stay there. Do you agree that Hercules married Abraham's granddaughter? Because remember, he had a son named Afar or Afar. They spell it Afar or Afer. And they said this is where the name Africa comes from, but he had a daughter of Pharaoh because they had a son. You all agree? This is what Josephus tells us, right? So can you tell me a battle where Libya and Egypt fought on the same side and they won? Is there an ancient war that's listed that you can look up where Libya and Egypt fought together and they won? Yes. The 4-Day War. You said, I don't know if this is off topic, but Hercules' mother is also from Medea or Media. You know they play with it. They spell it like that or Medi. 1941 to 1943 BCE. You think they changed their name a little bit? 1973, Egypt aids Libya in the Arab-Israeli war. Okay. So do y'all think her name could have been spelled Achamenids, and these could be the kids of that lady in ancient Iran? Because we know they flipped Zeus upside down. They changed Maccabees from the Maccabeans. They tell us in the book. Even when we go through our Chus, is Cush. In some books, his name is Chus, and in some books, he's Cush. Is he not? We went through this in the beginning. I said, not that they just played with the words. We found out that Chus, Chus, is Cush, Chush. No? Y'all remember that, class? Chus is Cush as well. It's the same race of people. Okay. How many of you watched Bugs Bunny and the old cartoons with the Roadrunner and the coyote? Where was they always at? In the desert. What was the name that was on the box and the anvil that they always used to be dropping? Acme. Like Acmenic? Acme is it's on everything. It's a shorter version, but did you ever wonder where that comes from? Could it have come from the Acmenids or the Achaemenids? Could have come from there. They was always in the desert. Just like they played in our face with the Flintstones and told us that dinosaurs was working with humans and helping them move them big old heavy blocks. And that they was building apartments in solid rock. Whole cities cut out of solid rock. Is that not what Petra is? Is that not what a lot of the places in Ethiopia are? The churches that are hewn out of rock, stone, and they're intricate and detailed to where they still don't understand how they cut it, or where they took the rocks, or how they got the rocks out because they built it from up down. No. Yeah. So all the stories about Zeus that we have read and seen, Could that be the rest of the Bible? Now that we know that the Gulf of Zeus is really the Gulf of Suez in Egypt, the rest of the stories about the Egyptians that we don't have, and there were the whole big gaps. Now that you know that right across from the Gulf of Zeus or the Gulf of Suez is Europa, okay? And they talk about the Black Sea and different things in Greek mythology. They do this. Think about it. Okay. Who's the father of the Egyptians? Who does the Bible tell us is the father of the Egyptians? We did a class on this before. And Zeus sure did transfigure himself into a white bull and kidnap the princess Europa because he desired her. Oh, interesting. And in Egypt, we see a whole bunch of minotaurs. Interesting. Interesting. One of the first places we see minotaurs is in Egypt. Mitzrayim, son of Ham. Interesting. So the Egyptians are Ham's grandchildren. How tall was Ham's daddy? About 210 feet or so, maybe 250. They say his grave is 210 feet. So, about 200 feet tall. So, the grandfather of the Egyptians, or great grandfather of the Egyptians, was 210. They was tall like Noah. Got it. Okay. Do you think if they was 80 feet tall, they would be considered gods? Hello? Okay. So if Noah was 210 feet tall, we'll say his sons was close in his height. So the first people after the flood, were they all big or were they all little? Okay. Because if Noah is a giant, that probably means Naamah is a giant. And seeing as how we know she was taking down giants, it says, and angels. And their sons brought along daughters. Right? We know this. Prior to the 16 and 1700s, every time an explorer went out from like the 1300s to about the 1600s, they said when they got to all the islands in South America, different parts of Africa, and all of this, every time they got to the shore, there was what there to meet them? Khalifa was what? Okay, she was a giantess, right? That's how we got the name California. Right? This is history. She was a giantess, right? Kind of looked like the Amazonian women that we hear about. And all of the women were super tall. This is just for California, right? No? Why are big tall women called Amazonians or Amazons? Why didn't they just call them tall women? Why did they specifically call them, and still now, they will call a big tall woman an Amazon? Why would they call her that? Unless somebody went to the Amazon and saw some big tall women like that. No? Right? No? They talk about the Amazonian warriors and how strong they were, the women. Not the men. I mean, there was, but large instead. They tower over most people, and the name source of the. Okay. Okay. All right. Okay. In this book, Mythology, Timeless Tales of Gods and Heroes, it says, chapter 1, the gods, the Titans, and the 12 great Olympians. Who do you think that the 12 great Olympians are? Chicagoans, Arizonians, Californians, it's all. Because could Arizona have been Arizona? The zone, another zone of The 12 tribes of Israel are the 12 great Olympians. And they were going against the Titans? Could that have been because Jacob himself came out of 2 races of giants, but they were the runt of the giants, were they not? Israel was the runt of the giant clans. And this is why all the giants used to be trying to dominate them. His mama was an Amorite, his daddy was a something, or his daddy was an Amorite, and his mama was, I always forget the other. So the land of Israel came out of 2 races of giants, did it not? It did. And here, right in Greek mythology, it says the Titans and the 12 great Olympians. How many of you have read the 12 Patriarchs? You did? Did they mention some giant kings in there? That the 12 went up against. One of the brothers could pick up a bear and dash it against a rock. One of them could outrun a deer. It was like 75 miles an hour or something like that. Right? And it talks about the two giant kings that the two brothers, I believe, went up against. And also Jacob fought a few giants himself. And he wrestled with an angel that touched his hip and threw it out because he was giving him a run for his money. How many natural-sized men do you feel could do that? Okay. All right. Do you see the size of Joseph's brothers? And do you see his size? And then what do you see right there? Right here. Oh, they be playing in your face. Y'all done seen this picture so many times. The fact that that would be us size people in the corner is crazy. We'd be lucky not to get stepped on, let alone. So, I was on the phone with your nephew the other day. It's so crazy you say this because we about to go into that too. It's all a part of this, which is so crazy. So, the tallest building in Asia, or the tallest Buddha statue in Asia, is 100 feet taller than what a giant would, what a titan would be. Because remember, the first giants was 450 feet tall. We know this for sure. It tells us in Enoch and other places, right? So if you go look at this building, it's like 545 feet tall or 500 and something. I know it's like right at about 90 feet taller than what they said the giants would be. Can you please go look at the man? And you got to look it up because he told me the name of it. I don't know what the name is, the statue, but it tells you the biggest Buddha statues or whatever, right? Or it's called the Statue of Peace or something in Egypt, something like that. It's like the Statue of Peace, I believe. Can you go look up the Statue of Peace and then go look up the man that's standing by the foot of the Statue of Peace? Please. And then we make it all the way back here. Because if Noah was 210 feet tall, and his grandsons and great-grandsons are the rulers in Egypt, and then we have this size man, and then we have human-sized regular people. This many years after the flood, the human gene, this is how you get, they said that a lot of times the giants had a super big kid and a super little kid. But we see 3 different sizes of people here. How long did Noah live after the flood? How many years did Noah live after the flood? And how many years did his sons live? He lived 350 years after the flood. What's wrong, Rika? Right. And this is the one we've been looking at. Right. But if it was still beings, he died at 950. And we know that Joseph served in Egypt, did he not? But in this picture we just looked at, oh, you talking about the Buddha in China. Did you see the foot picture? Did you see the man standing by his foot? He don't look like a grasshopper to this statue to you. Did you look at the image or the man standing right there by the foot? See, they be playing in our faces because we be thinking, oh, they just made that statue that dimension. No. 9 times out of 10, that body is that is a body that they found. So when I showed y'all the picture from the National Geographic where the people could fit into their mouths, y'all believe me now. Remember, everybody kept telling me it was a Photoshop. Is this Photoshop? I'm looking at people standing and they almost look like ants, almost. Like how they said they looked when they went to the sons of Anunnaki and over into the Canaan. So when the world was destroyed by water, Noah was 500 years old. Yes, he had lived half a century. I mean, half a century is only, oh yeah, millennia. Is it 1,000 years is a millennia? Y'all help me. Not a century. A century is 100 years, right? Am I wrong? Help me. I don't know. Okay. I'm looking at people saying, I'm a little confused, y'all. Give me a minute. Because my mind is a few places right now. 1,000 years is a millennia. 100 years is, what's the name, right? Am I right? What is it? Can y'all help me? I'm a little... A millennia is like 1,000 years, right? So he lived half a millennia. Is that it? And then a century is 100 years. I said he lived... So he lived 5 centuries is what I should have said. Before the flood. 1,000 years is a millennia. Okay. 100-year century, yeah. Okay, so I flip-flopped it. I knew I was in the area. Give me a minute. Thank you for being my teacher's helpers. Thank you. Right. So he lived half a millennia, excuse me, but he lived 5 centuries. Excuse me. Okay. I got it wrong. I just got it flipped, y'all. Excuse me, teacher can get confused sometimes too. Goodness gracious. Thank you. All right. So he lived half a millennia prior to the flood, right? And then he lived roughly 350 to 400 years after the flood. So do you think he got to see a lot of grandchildren born? Because again, the regular human gene is in them because the giants came from human women and fallen angels. And then the giants started to mate with each other, of course. And so then they had races of extra large people with supernatural powers. The Bible tells us this all the time. And we know for a fact that they were concentrated in the area of ancient Mesopotamia, in the hills of Lebanon, Syria, Egypt, Libya, in these places. They did go across the water and start over there, and they would go because the Bible says they conquered the earth. So we know that they were in Japan. We know that they were in Russia. We know that they were in all of these places. Do we agree? Yeah. No. Okay. Okay. We still see it now where parents will have one super tall kid and then they might have a little person. No. Or every other child is a little person, but the other children are extremely tall. Well, there's books that we've read. You said me. Okay. Okay. So there's books that we've read that said there were giants that came out of it, but there was also the exact opposite, which was little people, which is where we get uh, our dwarves and everything from the mystical, or really technically pygmies. Y'all realize that, right? Hmm. So you either got a super tall person like Shaq, or you got a pygmy. Is how it started out. Because pygmies are fully grown people. You said yes, my aunt 5'11", 6 foot, my mom 5 foot. Uh-huh. But think about it. When you see the pygmies that are in different places around the world, they be a whole full grown man and don't be taller than a 3-year old sometimes. And be old. Do they not? Sometimes they're not taller than 3 feet. But it be a whole tribe of them. And they are the people, here we go, that are always talking about the giants that live up in the mountains. When both of their ancestors got there, they have the same story. Papa Smurf. Come on. Think about it though. They'll have the same beginning because that parent could have had a pygmy and a giant. What's the movie Big with Arnold Schwarzenegger and whatever it's called, or what a twin, or I can't think of what it's called. But even when we see Shaq and Kevin Hart together, they could be born from the same person, parents, could they not? Shaq and Kevin Hart can be born from the exact same parents. My sisters and I are 5'6", but my brothers are 6'1" and above. Exactly. Hmm. You said or Frozen, Moana, or the Smurfs. Okay. What about the littles? What about the show The Littles? Your daughter is a dwarf. See? Amazing World of Genetics. Here we go. Camille and we stand together. I remember that movie. Okay. I'm trying to tell you. Okay. I bet Noah Daddy thought the same. Listen, this. Now, y'all see how big they are. Do either of you see anyone that resembles an ancient Asian man? There's a couple of them in there that would look like what we would say a Japanese or a Chinese wise man. No? Do you see his beard? That's Joseph. That's his brothers. That's Joseph. That's his brothers. Now, I wanted to show y'all one other thing really quickly. We're going to skip over to this and then we're going to go back. So this is about the flood in Egypt and all the people that were leaving and coming and doing this. Now, what are the rich people doing right now that things are in a shortage? And we're going to go back over there. But I just want y'all to see something. What are they doing to farmland and stuff like that? Right. But it's something that they've been doing. Buying it up. They're buying up all the land. They're buying up all the farmland. They're buying up everything. And because there's famine and financial ruin, they're able to buy those things cheap, right? Y'all, why did that happen in Joseph's time too? Listen to this. It says, and when money failed in the land of Egypt, when money failed, and when money failed in the land of Egypt and in the land of Canaan, all the Egyptians came unto Joseph and said, give us bread, for why should we die in thy presence? For the money faileth. And Joseph said, give your cattle, and I will give you for your cattle, if money fail. I'm sorry, he said, and I will give you for your cattle if money fail. And they brought their cattle unto Joseph, and Joseph gave them bread in exchange for horses. Bread in exchange for horses, and for the flocks, and for the cattle of the herds, and for the asses. And he fed them with bread for all their for all their cattle for that year. Cattlemen bringing up their oxen below left a scribe stoops over his task and checking on the animals as they pass. We're not done yet. Here it goes. Ooh. When that year was ended, they came unto him the second year and said, we will not hide it from my Lord, how that there is aught left in sight of my Lord, but our bodies and our lands. And Joseph bought all the land of Egypt for Pharaoh, for the Egyptians sold every man his field, because the famine prevailed over them. It says, this is what Joseph must have organized when he began to buy up land in exchange for corn. Left and right of the picture are the men with the measuring line. They are accompanied by 3 scribes and an old peasant and some youths. People were so hungry they were selling their land for corn. People were so hungry they was giving up their whole flocks, cows, for some bread for a year. He said, oh, okay, well, what you got? Okay, well, I got enough bread for a year, but I'm gonna need this good old land. How many acres you got here? Is that not what's happening right now and we in famine? Hmm. People about to start giving up their land, their farms, just so they can feed their families and eat. Money failed back then too. And Egypt was one of the wealthiest societies on the planet. And money in Canaan failed, and money in Egypt failed too. Now, let me show you this. Where is it, Dad? Hold on, y'all. Basically, it was a space in here, and now I can't find it. Where it says he told them, y'all put y'all faith in money. Oh, I don't know what page it was on. I don't know what page it was on, y'all. But basically, he basically was like telling them, like, y'all put y'all faith in money, but that wasn't what you should have did. Dang, I guess I didn't mark it. Guess what else I found out today? Sorry, y'all want to know something else crazy? Guess how they was preserving them bodies in Egypt? Guess. They use baking soda. Because it draws all of the moisture out of the body. I learned that in this book. And then I went and looked it up. They call it another name. Baking soda. And they be letting us turn it into primordial soup. And all they need is baking soda. I don't know if it's alkaline or not, nephew, but that's what when they did Jacob, this is how we know that they, look, it says, and Jacob yielded up the ghost and was gathered unto his people, and Joseph commanded his servants, the physicians, to embalm his father, and the physicians embalmed Israel. The Egyptian practice of embalming corpses was intended to preserve the body after death. It is only mentioned in the Bible in connection with Jacob and Joseph. Here, embalmers are processing a dead body. Above, a priest wears a jackal's mask. We know it wasn't no mask. Of Anubis, the god of embalming, stands beside the corpse, which is laid out on the embalming couch. Below, the corpse is treated with natron, which draws the fluid out of the body. And I looked up natron, and natron is baking soda. It's mummification. No, that's why their skin is perfectly preserved, baby girl. Baking soda. Baking soda and salt. But baking soda. It's in there. I looked it up. I looked up natron. I looked it up. Baking soda. So if they wrapped our bodies in baking soda and did the right thing with taking out all of the organs, we would not stink when they open us up. Our skin would be perfectly preserved. Now, I'm going to tell you why that's amazing to me, because we know where the Egyptians got their mummification from, because Noah was alive during the time of Adam, not Adam, but you know what I'm saying? He was a time where there were still people, Seth and them and all of them was still living when Noah was born. Well, we know that Seth and those guys, well, not maybe not Seth, but you know, down the line, because Adam didn't die until a few years before he was born. It wasn't that long, so maybe Seth was. I can't remember just right now. But the first people that were taught embalming were still living when Noah was living, maybe when he was born or whatever else. So then you have to think about it. That tradition was taught. Everybody was embalming those bodies like that, right? Because the angels are the ones that taught, and Seth was taught how to mummify exactly by the angels. Right. Right. Seth is Adam's son. Cain, Abel, Seth. Remember it says in the book of Adam and Eve, this the angels came down and taught Seth how to embalm his body. Right. Oh, Seth was alive. Okay. So Seth was alive. It's okay. Isn't that crazy? So you don't think that Seth talked about how the angels taught them how to, and it was baking soda and salt. And that's how they preserve the skin so perfectly. And they show them doing it to Jacob. That's Jacob. So when you see this on the Egyptian hieroglyphs, this is Jacob. Who would have ever known? You see his skin tone? This is, when you see this on the hieroglyphs, this is Jacob. And then they show his funeral in the hieroglyphs, y'all. This is Jacob's funeral. You was about to say he black as midnight, and was. This Jacob's funeral, y'all. This Jacob's funeral. So let me ask you a question. Is there Hebrew history hidden in Egypt? And look at what they're showing us. They're showing us the face. Wonder whose face this is. So they say. So they say. They say this is King Tut, right? Because this is talking about Joseph. Now, I'm just reading to y'all about Joseph. This is all Joseph. All of this right here is Joseph. This is all Joseph. And this is the picture they have here. And the last thing that it says is, free from Egypt's bondage, I brought your fathers out of Egypt, Joshua. But this is talking about Tamar. And how they, what is it said? As a mark of mourning, they all have one hand placed on the head. And Tamar laid her hand on her head and went on crying. So they were just talking about how that was like a form of mourning. So I guess it showed up in Hebrew worship as well, where they paid women to come and mourn. These women are paid mourners, and they walk with their hands on their head. Okay. So there are hieroglyphs that we have been told not to read That's what I was thinking. So is Joseph king to? I don't know. I can't say, but I mean, they play with all of this, so I can't say yes and I can't say no because I don't know for sure. But I know that he's somebody over there because they put his daddies. They said it was a big old thing. They mourned him days. Like all of the Egyptians was crying and the kids was crying, and this is when Jacob died, the father of Joseph, because they had been in Egypt. The brothers had been in Egypt too. All those giants were there. Like the people, women now who go to everybody's funeral. Girl, quit talking about my mama. Don't do too much, Joy. I done told you about my mama. She's a professional mourner, and that's why I don't even go to funerals at all. She gonna pay to go. You hear me? Is I told y'all. Be careful now. No, but for real. So I wonder if that's the same Tamar that got pregnant by old boy that gave her his staff and when she played like a prostitute. Here we go. The way these timelines be running together, I'm still putting it together. Okay? Cause you see, when I look, I said, wait a minute, that's Zeus backwards. So I'm still now I still got other books that I gotta go looking for and look at these timelines and stuff because remember I told y'all it was some names of some people that was alive before the flood and then again after the flood. Well, I've been looking and I've been finding some stuff in just these books that we have right here, right in front of me, and I said, wait a minute. But again, God said, I flooded the surface of the earth. He never said he flooded the subterranean level or the level that's right under the earth's surface where they keep finding all of these caves and stuff. He said, I flooded everything on the surface of the earth, not under the earth, on the surface. And if they are the mountain builders, and we know that they have tunnels and cities that they are finding under the earth's crust, what does that mean? It means that some of these names that were here before the flood, because they were not on the surface of the earth, they were in the earth. They could have definitely been alive after the flood, because the Bible says there was giants on the earth before the flood and after. Well, we know Noah was a giant, but God also only flooded the surface of the earth. He didn't flood under the earth. And every time they turn around, they found in some hidden city that's so many miles down in the earth. And there's buildings and stuff in there with trees and gardens and rivers and everything. Some of the explorers go in there and they never come out. And also, certain waters came out of specific places of the earth, and I will believe that they would go right back into those spots as well. This bedrock is the solid consolidated layer of rock beneath the soil and other loose surface materials. Bedrock is the foundation on which the earth's surface is built. Flintstones was trying to tell us. I told you, I just said that in the beginning of class, DC Pool. I literally said they played in our face. Literally. That exact same thing. I literally said the Flintstones, bedrock. Mm-hmm. The foundations of the earth is where the giants and the dinosaurs are. And over there, because those cave tunnels is under Jerusalem, they talk about the cities that are underneath there. They going down in all of these mountains. Look at what they just found under the pyramids. What they just show us with the monster movie that they went through a portal, and where was they at? They was in Middle Earth, and what was down in there with King Kong? What was in there? All the stuff that was alive on the surface of the earth before the flood. Interesting, Miss Nicole. Now you get where I'm going. Uh-huh. It was apes down there, but it was dinosaurs and everything down there. In that area where he went, where it was all, and the dinosaurs was down there, it was, right, right. Who built the Tower of Babel and they got turned into what? We talked about that too, an advanced civilization of and they was extra big because they was extra big people, and we know that that was put Mitzrayim and some other folks, Cush, they children. We read that in Jasher, did we not? And so we know if Mitzrayim is the father of the Egyptians, and that's also the grandsons of Noah, and they showed us that at the Tower of Babel, Nimrod, who was a grandchild of him as well, was building it with what, 600,000 other giants or 200 other, and it was Putz, Mitzrayim, and I can't think of the other ones. The families. Yep, and the king of the apes wanted to get back to the surface and wreak havoc. Ooh, I'm about to go over into the bathroom. I'll be right back. Y'all see how God giving us the pieces at the end? We getting to the end of the movie. Y'all still with me? Or y'all done went to sleep? This is so much more than average person does not know about. It's so cool. Yep, and the king of the apes. Okay. Is y'all minds going together? Who remembers when we talked about the planet of the apes? And I said, go look at their armor. It looks like the Persians and the Assyrians, their armor. He said, I don't smoke, but I need a cigarette after this one. My brain is fried. My nerves done gone bad. Hilarious. Get what you need. Can you go look at the armor of the planet of the apes real quick and tell me if it doesn't look like the Phoenicians? The Phoenicians' armor, the Assyrian armor. Look at their hats and their cuffs that they got on. All right, here we go now. Listen. It says, and King Nimrod reigned securely, and all the earth was under his control. And all the earth was of one tongue and words of union. So in the days of Nimrod, everybody spoke the same language. And all the princes of Nimrod and his great men took counsel together with Put, Mizraim, Cush, and Canaan with their families. Are those not all giants? They all became the Assyrians, the Babylonians, the Canaanites, and all of them. Right? And we know that out of these people came races of giants. We know Nimrod was a giant. Okay. It said, and they said to each other, come and let us build ourselves a city, and in it a strong tower, and its top reaching heaven, and we will make ourselves famed, so that we may reign upon the whole world, in order that the evil of our enemies may cease from us, that we may reign mightily over them, and that we may not become scattered over the earth on account of their wars, the giant wars. And they all went before the king, and they told the king these words, and the king agreed with them in this affair, and he did so. And all the families assembling, consisting of about 600,000 men, we know this was giants, 600,000 giants, and they went to seek an extensive piece of ground to build the city and the tower, and they sought in the whole earth, and they found none, like one valley on the east of the land of Shinar. Now I found out that Shinar is also Sinar, and it's like in between like India and Turkey or something like that. Oh, I wish we could have a big barbecue and have a class like this. This part. Oh, you went and looked up the armor of the Phoenicians and the Assyrians and the Babylonians, and then did you see the armor of the apes? Is it similar? Are their hats and their cuffs and stuff similar? They got like the bowling pin on top of their head. That almost sounds like Shenron from the Dragon Ball Z, the Eternal Dragon. Interesting. Okay. Do you believe that King Og lived? No. No, it's after. Nimrod lived after the flood. After. Okay. The Rephaim in the 100,000 giant war that Nimrod fought against King Og. We know that this was a giant war, do we not? We know that the dragon siblings, the sons of Anak, Anak the keeper of the tablets or whatever was there, Anzal, Yuval, and it goes through a whole list. Reminds me of the design of Goliath's armor. Okay. Against David. Okay, let me ask you a question. There is a Melanesian, I believe, god, and from Africa too, and or Asian or something like that, named Oga Oga. Can you go look at him real quick? Ogah. And tell me if you think that might be what Og looks like. In Wheel of Time, it was Ogier, Ogre. But over there, it's Oga, Ogah. You think I could have looked something similar to Oga? Gog and Magog both have Og in their name, do they not? And we know they were giants as well. Oga had a few arms, didn't he? Like the people in India, like one of the characters of Mortal Kombat. That's exactly what my son said last night. I see why men's hearts from fear. They was ugly, hilarious, and big. So if you went and looked at the tallest statue, you see how little them people is to the toe. If the giants looked like that, but you were that size where you look like a grasshopper or an ant compared to this being, it's saying he's Balinese. Okay, I knew it was something with Asia or somewhere over there. Okay, we just read in this book that the giants went to the islands, did we not? And they took over the islands to do scientific research on weapons. Where do our scientists do tests for military weapons? This is what I found. It's spelled Oga instead of Oga. Oga is the symbol of all negative traits that people want to eliminate from themselves, such as greed, anger, jealousy, and lust. You mean all of the attributes of the giants? Greed, anger, jealousy, and lust describes the giants, does it not? That's right in the beginning of Enoch. And God wanted to get rid of the giants. Og of Bashan. What's real crazy is greed, anger, jealousy, and lust is what went on with Og. Hold on. Here we go. It says, Lesta, queen of the Rephaim, and I were bred from the spoils of a Rephaim procreation harvest. A procreation harvest is a what? They have demon faces and animal forms. Interesting. I wonder if that's the same reason why he wanted to destroy all the people that represented the spirits of the giant, is because the same spirits would have been reincarnated in the originals. Exactly. That's why God said kill everything moving, because the spirit can get into a fertility ritual, a orgy. Interesting. Okay. It says, born of worship to Baal of the moon, born in the temple and reared in the high place. He was reared in a high place. What is the high place called? A mountain. So he was reared in the mountains. It says, I trained in both the priesthood of Baal with chaser and driver. So he practiced magic, and he was trained in the arts of war. And they took wives unto themselves, and everyone respectively chose one woman for himself, and they began to go unto them, and they taught them magical medicine, incantations, the cutting of roots, and taught them about plants. And the women became pregnant and gave birth to great giants, whose heights were 300 cubits. These giants consumed the produce of all the people until the people detested feeding them, and they began to sin against birds, wild beasts, reptiles, and fish, and their flesh was devoured the one by the other, and they drank blood. And Azazel taught the people the art of making swords and knives and shields and breastplates. And he showed to their chosen ones bracelets and decorations, the shadowing of the eye with antimony, ornamentation, the beautifying of the eyelids, and all kinds of precious stones, and all of the coloring tinctures and alchemy. Alchemy. What y'all say? Alchemy. What's her name? A-L. How y'all spell her name? A-L something something something. The mother of Hercules. What was it? A-L-C-M-A. What was it? Oh, okay. A-L-C-M-E-N-E. Okay. A-L-C-H-E-M-Y. Interesting. And there were many wicked ones, and they committed adultery. So that would be, y'all know what it is. And erred, and all their conduct became corrupt. And Amoris taught incantations, the cutting of roots, and Amoros, the resolving of incantations, Barakwiel, astrology, and so forth and so on. Okay. Okay. So Og lived up in the mountains, and he was trained in the priesthood, which is, we know that their wives became the priestesses of Baal. We know that. And then moving on. Okay, so here we go. Lesta became a sorceress before the Baal of Moon and a transcriber of words. Others born in the temple and trained in the high places at that time were Sihon Ag, my brother Ohiah, and Maui. Interesting. Meyer, Lethat the possessed, and Geryon the heavy. So during the time of Nimrod, all of these different giants were living. That sounds like Amoros, which means strongly moved by, and especially sexual love. Interesting. There was a demon named Amoros, wasn't it? In the Testament of Solomon? Wait a dang, girl. That's one of the angels. That's one of the daddies. Yeah. Amor. me amours. Amorosa. It sure is. And she ran with that man and was on that show was. Ooh, somebody named Medea too. They've been playing in our face. Okay, well let's keep it moving here. All right, so we going down here. It says, it says, and they began to make bricks and burn fires to build the city. Wait a minute. So Nimrod, wherever they went, it was 2 days walk from where they was at. If they was giants, that makes sense why I didn't take them no long to walk there. And they began to make bricks and burn fires to build the city. And so we know about what they did now. Let's go here. Okay, 35 says, and the Lord smote the 3 divisions that were there, and he punished them according to their works and their designs. Those who said, we will ascend to heaven and serve our gods, became like apes and elephants. But they didn't die. And those who said, we will smite the heavens with arrows, the Lord killed them, one man through the hand of his neighbor. And the 3rd division of those who said, we will ascend to heaven and fight against the Lord scattered them throughout the earth. But it never said what happened to the ones that became like apes and elephants. We know the 3rd division got scattered on the earth. The giants were scattered in the earth. The second of the 3rd of these people were killed. But it never said what happened to the apes and the elephants. Because it didn't, the elephant men and the ape men, it didn't say they died in here. And this Sinnar is close to like India. It's between like India and Turkey or India and somewhere. Okay? Where do they have the elephant men at? And then in Africa, they always show an ape taking a regular sized woman and taking her up to a mountain and holding her hostage. King Kong, he took a regular sized woman and he fell in love with her and he wanted to take her up to the highest place and have her there to stay with him. So do you think that King Kong could have been one of these giant men that got turned into an ape man? You don't think he'll still have feelings for a regular woman? They always show the pictures of humans and ape. You said Sri Lanka too? Okay. Falling in love or being in love with these ape-like people. But the apes are smarter than everybody knows. Larger than regular people. Think about how many times we done seen an ape with human eyes. Or some type of orangutan, and you be like, They sit up like regular people. Bowser, not an ape, and Peach. Oh. I know I done seen some apes, orangutans, whatever that whole family is, and been like, And think about it. Disney tell us all the time that humans get trapped in animal bodies, and they told us right here in Jasher that that's exactly what happened. They were humanoid beings that got trapped in animal bodies. And then they put it on Disney that these men from Put, Mitzrayim, Cush, and Canaan. Now think about this. And when they went down into Canaan is where they said We look like grasshoppers to them, and they see us as such. Wasn't that Canaan? Where the people was as tall as this Buddha we just looked at, maybe 90 feet shorter than that. Where they was tall as the Lebanon trees. King Louis in the Jungle Book. I want to be like you. I'm gonna have to. I ain't seen in the new Jungle Book or the old one, girl. It's been a long time since I watched Jungle Book. Y'all giving me my list. I think I'm gonna make some popcorn. The old one. Okay, I'm gonna have to go watch it. Just like Nebuchadnezzar, Nebu, Chad, Nazar. Interesting. Is y'all toes wiggling? Is anybody else's toes? He was an orangutan. Interesting. You said my uncle looks just like a Planet of the Apes. I would not doubt it. Just think about this, y'all. So we know that during the time of Og and Nimrod, there were plenty of giants, because that's when 100,000 were. There were dragons. This is after the flood. Just like Scar and Hollow Earth and King Kong. Y'all toes is wiggling? Is they? So have they been playing in our face this whole time? With Suez actually being Zeus? The mountain of Zeus and the waters of Zeus and all of that. And Europa being Europe. And we just didn't have all the pieces to put together. And now that we know that Mizraim and Put and Canaan and all of them got together and built in India. What's in India? The temples of India. How big are they? King Louis was also supposed to be a giant one. He was the bigger one that always left. Interesting. King Louis literally said in the song, I want to be a man. Well, that's why these books are so important. And I got to all of this because Mr. Michael sent me this book. And I looked down at this and I said, that says Zeus backwards. The Gulf of Suez is actually, and look, Nimrod. Okay, this Nimrod, we read about Nimrod. We know Nimrod started Nimrod, Assyria, the Akkadians, but they spell it A-C-C-A-D instead of A-K-K-A-D like it is in the Bible. We got Mari. about to let y'all go. But we can do some more of this in the morning if y'all want to. I'm about to go make me some snacks. Gonna make me a little popcorn. And I'm gonna get in bed. But I just want to know, is anybody else excited? Didn't even know what we was looking at the whole time. They hid Egyptian history under Greek and Roman mythology and just flipped the name of the river so that we wouldn't think that it was there. And whole time, Zeus is Suez. They played in our face for a whole long time. Europa was Europe, which was right up from Egypt. And the mountain of Zeus is in Egypt because it's actually the mountain of Suez and not Zeus. You're not going to play in our face no more. You're not. But this is why they always over there digging up. This is why they are fighting over that land now. Because they know that the land of gods is not Greece. The land of the gods is Egypt and ancient Mesopotamia, which is why they want to get in Iran, Syria, and all of those places right now, because we just read about their forefathers building all the temples in over there in Shinar or Sinar from the top to the bottom, and they couldn't figure out how they moved the rocks. Well, we know exactly how they did. And by who? So, I'm excited. And think about it, the Catholic Church is the people that hid this Zeus network, which the Diddy debaucheries helped set up. Oh my God, Diddy, Dionysus. Okay. Think about it. All of the names of the people in right. Me and my son just was looking at Paramount yesterday. It's 12 stars. How many stars is it in Paramount? It's 12. They come down and be flying over the waters, and then they rest on the top of the mountain. Is it 12 stars? How many stars is it on Paramount's logo? And it's 12 divine families. And we know that there was a certain amount of angels that came down, but they were the leaders of 10. Yep, I'm hungry. I'm about to go eat. I had some noodles earlier. I didn't even make all that other stuff because I got sleepy. And the Paramount is Universal, which is UMG, Universal Music Group. It's really in our face. Oh, okay. And we already went down who the Lucius and all of them. We went down through all of that back before UMG just went through what they went through. And if the Bible says that there's angels walking among us, Lucius, Lucifer, we don't know that ain't him. It ain't hard for them to come up with a story. They said vampires been doing it for a long time, ain't they? Shape-shifting and they just been here and old in a long time. The Bible said there was giants after the flood and before the flood, so who knows? The Bigfoots that's here, all of them different, all the hair on my body is standing up. I'm about to go. Mm-hmm. Well, I love y'all. Have I watched Interviewing a Vampire yet? The old one? The old one? They says I've been through all the classes. I was just getting started. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. I told y'all it's like he gave us information 3 years ago, 2 years ago, but now he's giving us even more. And as many times as we didn't looked at Zeus and looked at the maps of Africa, and it never showed us the Gulf of Suez. It's 12 stars around that mountain. It's a new one on Netflix. Really? Okay. Thank you. Okay. All right. Well, I'm gonna figure out one of these to watch. So, um, maybe we'll get up early. It just depends, y'all. My sleep schedule is real off right now, so I don't know what time I'm gonna get up. But whatever time we get up, we can get back into this if y'all want to in the morning, cause I'm excited. And it makes sense as to why they're using the names that they're using, why Trump was trying to get back into those places, because they summon. We seen that from what was it? The show from Chicago, uh, The Exorcist, the show. We see what they do. They summon archaic demons, and we know who the archaic demons are, right? They summon archaic demons that inhabit their body like a parasite, right? Oh, did I miss something? Oh, sorry, I did. Graduation party, congratulations. Thank you for helping me, because I read and then I go down. I sometimes don't read it all. Okay, sorry about that, Diana. Okay, but do y'all see how God is breaking up the time? And he gave us the basics of a lot of different stuff 3 years ago, but now he's opening up our understanding even further. You hear me? He's opening up our understanding even further. To know, because he told us that the gods were the Egyptians and the Assyrians and the Babylonians and all of that. And now we get this book 3 years later, and it literally tells us that that little river right there is called the Gulf of Suez, or the Gulf of Zeus. So let's get it popping tomorrow in the morning. I love y'all. Y'all have a good night. If you got pictures, I just can't pick my bottom lip up enough tonight. What's Sanaya? I'm excited about. Is it Sanaya or Sania? When I tell you, I feel all of that. I was like, wait a minute, wait. I said, I'm gonna tell him. I'm gonna wait. I had to calm myself down first because I didn't want to sound too crazy, and I still got some more stuff, but we'll get to it. So, I love y'all. Happy findings, because I know some of y'all ain't gonna be able to go to sleep. Y'all about to go get books and be looking up stuff. If you stay up, happy hunting. Some of y'all ain't about to be able to go sleep. Your mind ain't gonna let you. I already know what's going on. You hear? You said I'm at work, so you about to be looking at stuff. I love y'all. They always put the setting of Olympus on an island far above the clouds. Can I ask you a question? What did it used to look like when you used to walk up into the Egyptian courts? And where's the city of kings? Or the city of the gods? What's that look like? How big are those statues that are in the city of the city of kings, where they bury them? How big are those statues that are there? And when you look at the old things and how they used to go up those Egyptian steps, don't that look like the city of the gods to you, nephew? With the fires burning on the sides and the If you watch Game of Thrones, you see it. Artemis and Apollo's mom was forbidden by Hera from birthing them on Earth, so their mom birthed them on a floating island. Because Zeus was their father. Interesting. Hmm. I'll see y'all in the morning. They've been playing in our face. That's all I'm going to say. But I will see y'all in the morning. I love y'all. Lord's will. I see y'all.